I haven't made any notes for this video, but it's titled Redistributive Social Democracy Equals Collective Mental Health. And it might, because I haven't made notes, it might just be short video, I don't know, because I haven't made notes. So you can see that mental health collectively requires getting money to people who haven't got much money. Now, it's collective because it sort of like solves the problem for so many people. So in other words, psychology or mental health is not just get each individual and be specific to their problem. I mean, you've got that side of mental health because it might be a trauma from an accident or something. But if you want to solve a mental health problem in a big way, you redistribute money. That would do so much for so many, and sort of like take the weight off the mental health profession, that was for sure, mental health problems in one go, and there would just remain these few on the side, percentage terms, in sheer number terms, that are not to do with income. Like I said, trauma is quite a big one in itself, but more people are poor than are in catastrophic traumatic experiences that destroy their mental health. So they're not in competition with one another, but the trauma one has to be dealt with individually, whereas the money one can be done collectively. And that social psychology, that social side of mental health problems, is crystal clear to me. Now, it's not just there's quite a few policies that could help. Universal basic income is the big one, but it can either be done like by replacing certain redistributive policies, because that would mean the UBI was set really high, or you could have UBI set a bit lower than really high, and you could like bring in student grants, you could bring in higher pensions, and of course we talk about imagine there's no universal 3 point of use healthcare in the UK. That would cause mental health problems for some people. And say there was no 3 universal 3 point of use education for 4 to 16-year-olds, and you couldn't go on to college or uni unless you had a ton of money privately to afford it, then that would cause a lot of mental health problems, because people would be living wasted lives where they never got anywhere whatsoever. And likewise, I think that we're in that situation with housing in the UK because for some reason, healthcare and education is thought of as something that's a need that you should have, whereas money and housing are not thought of as something that's a need that you should have. Now, I just disagree with that. I think that they are needs as well, and I find it bewildering and perplexing why healthcare and education are understood as needs, but housing and money are seen as just like bonuses, not like needs. And I'm thinking that the answer to that is that the state superstructure just hasn't lost the battle on that. In other words, they are needs, but the state superstructure has not lost the battle on that. They're just not bothered about people, just don't care. So the only reason why I got free healthcare is probably because there was World War II, and that had made the people realise that the state could do things that it was previously thought it couldn't do, because they used to swallow that the state can only do so much. Then they realised, oh, come on, I'm just seeing you fight a world war. So just do what you can do for bad, do for good, so to speak. And And yeah, I do think that is it. And so, like, you could argue that 1945 would have been the time to bring in free housing. You know what I mean? Probably did build thousands of houses or so. Who's to criticise them rather than us? You know, our time's the one that's the suckers, the ones that aren't doing anything. But I mean, I do see that 1945 was an opportunity, and all of that would be excellent for mental health. It's not getting. I mean, for example, I can imagine the right wing saying, "What about aspiration getting ahead?" But my policies aren't against that because I want to get more people into uni, so that a lot of people who were born into poverty have a lack of self-belief because the parents have a lack of self-belief, their parents have a lack of self-belief, so on. And that is a norm, I would say. The more people you can get into uni, the better. So like the student grants policy isn't just a redistributive policy in its own right. That would be for that self-belief. So the more people you can get to get that self-belief in them, the better. It doesn't have to be self-belief to become super rich, although I've got nothing against people wanting to get rich. It could just be just to become a professional or something. That's about what I'm thinking. A middle class professional. And yeah, that would do it. I can see that would really help their mental health. So, like, for example, to make it an extreme, imagine the Victorian era when they weren't even able to get basic education for a 16-year-old, and that person's lived a wasted life. But a person who's no more better than they are or worse than they are ever is now able to get through for a 16-year-old education at the uni and become a professional simply because the opportunity was provided to them. You can see the contrast in mental health between the two. So, yeah, so my redistributive social democracy is definitely a mental health, collective mental health policy. And that's the video.